A Fam production for all things mattress. Fam.news.
We're talking about Jacknut George and the reason you're tired today and how to use this transition, daylight savings time, to connect with customers. And also, for the first time ever, a betting business guy with super talent. The musical stylings of Charlie DiCarlo. Here he is.
Every friend may hurt a friend. We were all the same. Never knew this home we shared would change. Time has turned your face from me. You were looking pale. Though we had to walk away, our hearts together, but our hands apart for time.
Charlie sent us some of his music. Super cool. He's on Spotify at Charlie DiCarlo. This song's called Walk Away. More than 45,000 streams. And coming up at the end of the show, we're going to play The Chase. That's his number one song. That's how we're going to roll out today. And thanks so much, Charlie, for sending us his tunes. Really cool. We're excited. We're excited about that. We're excited about nationwide primetime coming up. Isn't that right, Mr. Quinn?
Well, you know, it's this week. It's today, Kinsley. So that's really exciting. I've got my calendar packed full of things to watch, don't you? So they're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. It's packed up. You got Bob Munkle. He's going to be in there talking about stuff. We had actually have a conversation with him about Beavis and Butthead. Is that what he calls it? Doofus and Darling. There we go. Maybe that's what it is. But a lot of really good stuff from Bob. You got Jennifer Danko. She's going to be presenting. You've got the special guest, Dana Carvey, and Dana Carvey is going to be on tomorrow night at 6 p.m. with Tom Hickman. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So everyone check it out. We all know you go to Nationwide Primetime. There's so much benefit to that. Lots of great deals. People launching new products. You got to see that. And you got to go and listen and learn because that's where the best part of it is. And it's all accessible to you at Nationwide Primetime. Everybody check it out at nationwideprimetime.com.
You know, we got some good friends that are going to be there, too.
We have a lot of good friends.
That's Door Counts. Our friends from Door Counts are going to be at Primetime.
They're going to be there. That's right. They're always there spreading joy, things. Right?
They're spreading joy. They're spreading joy, and they're spreading visibility with those magic goggles known as Door Counts. They're going to be at Nationwide Primetime, and here's something really cool happening. So jot this down if you got a notepad handy. If you sign up for Retail Traffic Trends, you are going to be entered to win Door Counts 3.0 for a full year. Okay, and if you are a student of the show or a super fan, go back in time. Rewind yourself for a moment, and you will remember something. Our friend Luis Lopez, who's been on the show, that's how he got started with Door Counts. He won a free trial. So this is Door Counts 3.0. All you got to do is sign up for the Retail Traffic Trends that they deliver to your inbox with all kinds of insights. Luis did that, and he added Door Counts to his other two stores after he won that free version for a year. So that's what's going to be happening at Nationwide Primetime. Door Counts 3.0 for a full year. All you have to do, head over to doorcounts.com now, sign up for Retail Traffic Trends, and you could win it for an entire year. And boom, this is the waving of the magic wand. Traffic blindness be gone. That's the potion, the formula,
was that
the wording that you use as the magician known as Door Counts.
You just busted out a spell on them. Like, I have never heard you give an incantation before like that. That's pretty solid.
Well, you're welcome. Is that what I say?
Well, hang on. I need to put it down in my spell book because I got other spells, and I want to make sure that I can fit that one in. You know. All
right. Well, hey, you can always check it out, as you know, at nationwideprimetime.com and our friends at Door Counts, doorcounts.com. And we've been telling you about this for a while. You could sign up for that free trial, and then also they still have the 90-day free trial going on. Jerry's going to give you $150 if you don't like it and you find out it's not for you, so no problems there. And dose thumbs up.
With Mark Kinsley and Mark Quinn, where mattress and furniture leaders gather to grow, get the inside scoop, tell stories, and take tequila shots.
Uno, dos, tequila!
Welcome aboard. Here's your passport to a planet filled with the mattress industry's brightest minds and biggest ideas. Meet your guides.
I'm Mark Kinsley, President and CEO of Englander.
And I'm Mark Quinn, co-founder of Spink & Co. and VP of Sherwood Bedding.
Together, they are Dos Marcos.
The galaxy's greatest mattress podcast has liftoff in 3, 2, 1.
It's blast off.
It's kind of a strange thing that happens, but we're talking about a little bit about daylight saving time today. And by the way, it's not savings time; it's daylight saving time. It's not plural. You just get to save one amount of daylight.
I don't know about that, Kinsley. I've always said it daylight savings time, right? So it's just grammatically wrong. Is that what you're saying? Daylight saving. It's daylight savings time, isn't it? It's gotta be.
You're saving daylight in its essence as its singular. It's a singular piece of the puzzle.
All right. So daylight saving time. But before we get to that, can we just pause on this for a second? You told me a story about the Internet of Things, and it horrified me because I could see me, well, not quite doing what this guy did, but it cracks me up. So give us a little text. You and I were talking about, it's spring break coming up and I need a house sitter. And you were saying, hey, Quinn, if your kids are free, maybe they can come house sit for me. I got a couple trips I'm going to take. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then we both exchanged some horror stories from people that had done that with. So hit us with that story real quickly before we get into DST.
Well, the backstory is we have a friend who had a dog sitter, and we were trying to find somebody to come to stay at the house so we could go on a trip, and somebody stays at the house with the dogs. You got to feed them, love on them a little bit, walk them, no big deal. But we just wanted somebody to stay here because one of our dogs is older. You get it. So our friend recommends his dog sitter. We bring him over to the house, tell him the expectations, book him to stay at the house, and then about a week later, so the trip's coming up in like a month, so like a week later, we're out, and this is pre-pandemic, by the way. We're out at this place grabbing a drink and having a beer, and my friend was there, and my wife was talking to him about the dog sitter he had recommended. And she said, yeah, I booked him for these dates. And he goes, that's weird. I have him booked for the same dates. Surely something's off. So Tara, my wife, calls the dog sitter up, and sure enough, he had double booked himself. Not only double booked, at least triple booked. And this guy starts saying to her, well, don't worry. We come into the house and we put up cameras and we monitor everything that's going on. And then we were able to go back and forth, and I have other people that are working for me. And she goes, whoa, what? You're going to put up cameras in my house? You have other people working for you that you didn't tell me about that are going to be roaming in and out of my house that I don't know, that I haven't met, that I haven't approved to stay here. She's like, you're canceled. So our friend, our buddy, he wasn't able to cancel. So he's like, okay, I'm just going to, the guy stayed with my dogs before. Everything seemed fine. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward and use him for the dates he had a trip. So this is what we're talking about daylight savings time today, because when you switch time zones, when you start changing time around, people get tired and they start making mistakes. So that's all I'm going to assume happened here. So my friend has a refrigerator that is really cool. It's got a screen on it like a lot of fridges do these days. But this one has a built-in feature where you can write on it. So there's like a stylus and you can write a note.
You could write a note
like
to
if
Tara.
I write a note.
Yeah, all right. Hey, I'm gone. Yeah. I went out to ride my bike, and she can say, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, but they take it one step further, and this is a really hyper-connected computer screen on a fridge, because when you write something on the fridge, it shows up as a notification on your phone. So you're able to, if I wanted to write a note to Tara and she was out, boom, it shows up. Boom, it's like the advanced version of a sticky note. It shows up wherever you are. So my buddy's out of town. The dog sitter's there, and all of a sudden he gets a notification on his phone. And the notification was somebody had written something on his refrigerator screen, and so naturally it showed up. And what showed up on his phone was a picture of a penis. It was a dick pic. But not an actual one. It was just like a drawing of a phallic.
The hand-drawn dick pic. And so did they ever, I can't imagine so can I just say something there? Like if I saw a surface to like go draw on like a dry erase board or something like that, I just wanted to like test it out and just like have some fun because I'm that way. So of all the things that I could have drawn on that screen, I think that would be at the very bottom of the list. I can't even understand why that guy would do that. Did they ever confront the guy and go, "Hey, dude, you can't be drawing dick pics on my refrigerator"?
Not only that, you can immediately reply from your refrigerator phone app. And so my buddy replied and he says, "I can see what you drew." And so needless to say, they went ahead and finished out the trip because they were gone and this guy was staying with their dogs, but they did not hire him again. And like I said, surely it was probably around the time of daylight savings time, whenever everything goes off the rails. And he was just confused. I'm sure of it.
That's a harmless dick pic, Kinsley. I think your buddy needs to just take a breath.
Yeah, but it's not harmless, though, in a sense that I'm with you. If somebody's staying at my house and that's the first thing they think to draw on my refrigerator, I'm like, probably not the person to be staying at the house for me.
See, that's what weirds me out about this Airbnb stuff. Like, we would go like at High Point, North Carolina early on when I was in the industry, and we would stay at the same house every year. And it was so funny because everyone, like people in the crew, like they would go looking for dishes and stuff because we had to cook dinner. And we'd find their hidden bong, and all their paraphernalia in one of the cabinets. And then you'd find like a coffee table book of naked people. Like that was hidden somewhere. So it was just, it was weird. Like I felt bad for them because they had these people in their house, but I guess they knew what they were getting into. They're renting their house out for a crazy amount of money. So anyway, I get it. It's just weird to have people in your house, I guess ultimately is what that is.
You know what's really weird to have in your house? If you had a guy that signed up for your Airbnb property and his name was Jack Nut George. Wouldn't it be weird if somebody signed up named Jack Nut George?
Well, I don't know anyone that, but we sure we coined the term, didn't we? So, it's so interesting. Daylight savings time, Kins. So daylight savings.
Are you going to pay off what I just said, or are you going to switch gears?
I'm getting there right now. Daylight saving time. See, I can't even say that. Saving time. That sounds stupid. Daylight saving time. If you really rewind and you look at why that happened, do you know why that happened? Do you know why we are where we are today?
You're going to tell me.
I'm going to tell you right now. It's Jack Nut George. It's a guy by the name of, in 1895, an entomologist. Do you know what an entomologist is?
He's a bug guy.
Because you're reading the copy. Come on, man.
I'm not either. I knew that.
I know, I'm kidding. So he's an entomologist, right? So his name was George Hudson. And so he hatched this idea of daylight savings time. You know why? Because he wanted to chase more bugs. He literally wanted more daytime to go after more bugs. So he actually brought this whole idea, put it on the table, and everyone was like, yeah, no, sorry, that's not going to happen. Well, then fast forward, several years later in 1907, a guy named William Willett, who happens to be the great-great-grandfather of Coldplay frontman Chris Martin, right? So his great-great-grandfather likes the idea, brushes the dust off of that, takes it to the English Parliament, and they green light it. Germany is the first country. Then every other country in Europe came on board. And then later on, the good old US of A adopted. But my heavens, it's been going on ever since. But Kinsley, there's a big debate here because at the origination of this whole concept, it was let's get more daylight so that we burn less fuel and energy to keep our lights on so that we have more daylight during the day, obviously, to do things that we love to do, right? So more biking, more pickleball, more running, more time with family outside, right? And so that was the origination point. But now what they're saying is, detractors from it all, they're saying it's so much of a problem when it comes to sleep and sleep cycles that they're saying, why are we even do this? As a matter of fact, in Indiana, they did a study that actually proved out that daylight saving time didn't save energy costs. It actually increased energy costs. So what say you, Mr. Kinsley? Are you a fan of daylight saving time or not? Where do you stand?
Not a fan. Not a fan of any time that I have to change my sleep schedule so unnecessarily. And we know, just like we've talked about, that anytime you travel across time zones, it takes you about a day to adjust per time zone. So if you travel to Hawaii, if you're going to Maui and it's 5 time zones, you're really talking about 5 days to adjust. And so, and vice versa, a lot of times it's harder going west to east. But here we are, understanding, probably for the first time in human history, at scale, the effects of sleep, how it can really damage your well-being. It's been shown that during time change, whether you're springing forward or falling back, more heart attacks, more traffic accidents and deaths. It's like staggering that this one factor can turn the dial on so many bad things. And so, I think I mentioned Hawaii just now. I don't think they adjust their time schedule, so it's kind of like sunset at the same time every day. But it's absurd that we do this. I mean, it's absolutely crazy to me that we can see these macro effects and the negative effects on people's health, and we continue to do it. And here's the thing. I mean, if you're in the mattress business, if you're at retail, what a great time of year to have a conversation about sleep that's highly relevant to everybody's situation, because there's not a single person who isn't dealing with the time change. We don't have that many shared experiences as a people anymore. We just don't. I mean, the pandemic is one of the first actual shared experiences we've had in many, many years, because everything's so fragmented. Media is fragmented. Our schedules are fragmented, et cetera. So it's a great chance for you to talk to customers about their sleep and open up that conversation, saying stuff like, hey, did you set your clocks back? How you feel? You feel any different? Da, da, da. You get into the conversation about sleep. But yeah, I'm not a fan at all, Quinn.
So, you talked about the sleep problems, Kinsey. According to American Academy of Sleep Medicine, they're saying that they identify over 30% of Americans have insomnia issues. And I think we've seen numbers even higher than that. So if that's the case, and you've got daylight savings time, what are you really doing to people going back and forth? And if the study has been done where you're not actually saving money because of energy savings, then where are you, right? Like, what's the point? So would you keep it where it is now, where it's lighter later in the day, or would you go back to how it was?
I'd have to think about that. I mean, I tend, in the summertime, I like it to be lighter later in the day, just for all the reasons that you mentioned. You can be active well into the evening. I like to have a little more daylight. But, I think it's kind of interesting to historically look at this too, because the U.S. adopted daylight saving time in 1918. Well, what happened in 1918? That was the last pandemic. So here we are with the most recent pandemic. So let's change it back. And who knows if those things were tied together, but they could have been. But I think now is a historical moment when we really need to have some conversations about this. Look at the ill effects on human beings, death rates, heart disease, kids' schedules, everything, and say, let's wipe this out and let's find that happy medium so we're not switching up our schedule, because it's been shown to have such an adverse effect.
It does. My son just this morning, he wakes up, he's 16, right? And he's an athlete, so he does a lot of training. So he's tired. He's coming out of the weekend, and he's dragging ass because, of daylight savings time. And it just throws, for people who are already having issues, it throws you into such of a tizzy, and it can kill you, Kinsley. That's the problem here. But the good news is it can kill bad people. So this story, by the way, for everyone listening, you can find this at the FAM, and just look up daylight savings time. So
you got to go to fam.news.
Yep, there you go, fam.news. And so this story is there, and you can read it or listen to it, because it's, FAM is the first audio everywhere. Trade media publication for sure. I would venture to guess maybe anywhere on any kind of platform, but In September 1999, the West Bank of Israel was on daylight saving time. So Israel had moved back to standard time. So there is a time bomb that was built by West Bank terrorists that exploded 1 hour too early. So it killed 3 terrorists instead of the innocent people they were attacking or they were targeting in their attack. So there you go. I guess there's an upside, actually, to daylight saving time.
Wow. Talk about the worst terrorists of all time. That's what we need in the world. We need fewer terrorists. We need no terrorists. But we definitely need more bad terrorists if we are going to have them on the planet.
So I'm all for, like, dumber terrorists are great. That's good stuff. So let me ask you this. Are you, as it relates to it, can you recall a story that it really screwed up a schedule for you? Where it met, like, I wrote about this on fam.news, but
it's always church.
It
was always church growing up.
It was church for us, for sure. Yeah, Sunday came, and then you're late.
See, and there was a time in the world, kids, we go back in time here, when you actually had to turn buttons on a little device that you would sit up on the wall or on a shelf. You'd have to take this device off the wall and turn dials on it. It's called a clock. Now your phone just automatically updates and says this is the new time. But it was always church. But here's the problem with church with me. Growing up, I mean, my dad would be in the driveway, like in the Oldsmobile, honking the horn. Like, we got to go, we got to go. My mom was always late to church. So daylight saving time or not, we would have been late to church. And there I am in the back of the Oldsmobile, hated being late. And like the smell of my mom's perfume is just like wafting toward the back. And we walked in like church is already going on. And, we were shuffling through the aisles to get past people. So it didn't matter if it was daylight saving time or not. We were showing up late.
Well, I same for us, Kinsley. So I think everyone listening to this probably has some kind of similar story. So anyway, that's it for daylight savings time. We're both not in favor.
Or saving time, whichever.
We're saying saving time. We're not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'd like for it to stay
I'm not
what it is. You're not a what?
I'm not a fam.
You're not a fan. You're part of the fam. You're not a fan. Not a fan of daylight saving time. Here's the thing, though. It is a pain point. What you said earlier was absolutely right, Kinsley. It's a pain point. It's a pain point for you. It's a pain point for your consumer. Use it. Springboard off of it. Drive the mentions in social media. Talk about what it feels like to lose an hour of sleep and bring them into your doors, because that's the stuff when we start relating our business into the everyday life of our customer and we show them that empathy. That's where we connect, and that's where we make it happen for you. So anyway, go check that out. We hope that you are enjoying your experience so far at fam.news. Let us know. Send us some messages. Tell us what you're thinking. Please go visit the Dos Marcos podcast on Spotify, on iTunes, or anywhere that you get your show. And also, don't forget, on fam.news, there's a whole section of podcasts, Kinsley. There's like 4 or 5 different shows that people, for now, that people can enjoy. So go check it out and experience the full-blown meal deal that is the fam.
It's time to become a sleep superhero.
And here's a sleep superhero tip that's going to help you on the sales floor that dovetails with daylight saving time. Did you ever hear about these guys, these yahoos back in the 70s, researchers? They tried to change their circadian clock to 28 hours by holing up in a cave for 30 days. Now, this would have been a viral sensation in this day and age. But guess what? Here's the headline. It didn't work. It didn't work because you can't change your circadian clock. But there are ways to maximize and reset your circadian rhythm, and that's increasing bright light exposure during the day. So the good news right now, since we've sprung forward, is there is more daylight. So get out and let that have the effect that circadian rhythm has on your brain, your body, your hormones, helps you stay awake during the day and tells your body to go to sleep when it's time to go to sleep. Natural sunlight or bright light during the day helps keep your circadian rhythm healthy. Sit over by a window, go out and walk, get your exercise. It's going to improve your daytime energy as well as your nighttime sleep quality and duration. And here's the deal. In people with insomnia, daytime bright light exposure improved sleep quality and duration. And it also helped reduce the time it took to fall asleep by 83%. And that doesn't even account for what happened with seniors. In a study of older adults, it found that 2 hours of bright light exposure during the day increased the amount of sleep by 2 hours, and sleep efficiency went up by 80%. So if you're looking for a hack, if you're looking for a tip to share with your customers who are coming in, there it is. Get out a couple hours of bright sunlight every day. You're going to be feeling like $1 million. How you feeling about that, Quinn? Do you guys play pickleball outside or no?
All the time.
All the time?
All the time. They just had the World Championships, I guess, on this weekend. I didn't get to see it, but and I
wasn't. Tell them. Should we give a foot traffic driver also from Dustin Schmidt of America's Mattress?
Why don't you do that? You have it pulled up there.
Well, hold on a second. We just got to
give
him an official walk-in here.
You know what? While you're looking for that, Andrew Carrington, I was on a phone call with him today. He is a super fan of the show and love that guy. He's such a bright light, man. That guy, I understand he's got one of the best adjustable bed presentations ever. He worked for our good friends at Ergomotion, actually, and now he is a trainer with TSI. And I got to chat with him for a few minutes, and he was very kind and thanked us for what we do in the industry. But I know that guy does a lot of the same stuff. He's very, very passionate, Kinsley, about sleep making an impact in your life. So I know this episode will matter to him because I'm sure he is a daylight savings time detractor, is my guess.
Yeah, go Andrew, man. That's
right.
Nice to hear.
No doubt.
I can't, you got me interested now. Mm-hmm. I want to hear about Andrew's adjustable base presentation and how he takes people through that. Maybe give us some of those tips so we can share.
Yeah, no, I was told he's like money. So do you have that? Do you have your traffic driver now?
Are you ready to drive more foot traffic?
Who's not ready to drive more foot traffic? I am. Hey, here's one for you. It's summertime almost, or we're starting to feel like the vibes of summer coming our way. Dustin Schmidt from America's Mattress. This is in our book, Come Back to Bed. He says, get a free steak. Don't forget the beef. So he was giving away $300 Omaha steak family packs with any eye comfort or Beauty Rest Black. And he said it was a big foot traffic driver. Again, at the back of the book, Come Back to Bed, which you can get on Amazon, we had a bunch of foot traffic drivers that were submitted that actually worked. And so the Omaha Steaks thing really did work for Dustin. We thank you so much, Dustin, for submitting that foot traffic driver. You the man.
Brought to you by Door Counts, the only known treatment for traffic blindness. Nope, the UPS guy didn't come into your store 5 times today. Those were customers, and you have no idea what happened to them. Door Counts is the cure for traffic blindness. Increase conversions, boost sales, and make customers happy. Visit doorcounts.com today.
I love the fact that we have all this information coming at us about quality of sleep now. It seems like the whole topic, Kinsley, is blowing up more and more all the time. And when I was doing the research on the daylight savings time stuff, there was a lot more conversation around the sleep issue there and not the energy issue there. So if you look at that subject, right, there's a lot of people writing about the disruption of sleep. So I love that. I really do. I feel like, do you feel it? Do you feel like there's momentum behind the whole sleep as the foundation of our health conversation?
I feel the momentum. I feel the passion at retail. And the proof of that, nowhere is it demonstrated better than on fam.news. If you go over, we have an entire section. So there are only 4 main tabs: news, articles, podcasts, and sleep. And one of the podcasts we have up there right now, which is also part of the Fam audio stories, is from Matman Andrew Schlesser himself. He's a sleep superhero, and he talks about the adventures of Matman. So you can go listen to those stories and get his tips and insights about how he treats the conversation around sleep on the sales floor. 4 of the episodes are up right now. The origin story, talking about how he's more Bruce Wayne than Superman because Bruce Wayne wasn't from another planet and wasn't born with superpowers. He had to work at it like you got to work at your sleep. And then he goes into, you get one shot every decade to talk to people about sleep and how to awaken your superpowers. And it's just a meaningful shift in the conversation that Matt Mann is having, that many others at retail are having. And I think we're starting to get traction around this idea that sleep is the foundation. Sleep is not a pillar of health. It is the foundation that impacts everything else you do. Diet, exercise, cognitive abilities, your mechanical functioning. It's all because it's all going to map back to sleep, and sleep's going to have an impact on it. So I'm feeling great about where we're headed, and health and wellness is the number one most important topic in the world right now, and we are tied to that.
So speaking of tied to that, everyone tie what you're doing to that as you have conversations this week, because those are the conversations with your customers. It's a pain point. Everybody knows that daylight savings time is a pain in the butt. Matter of fact, I could see a t-shirt, daylight saving time sucks. I want my hour back. I could see t-shirts, right? I mean, who wants to give an hour of their sleep away? Nobody.
We should have a protest in Times Square.
Ooh, that's
like the
good.
guy that holds up signs like protesting just random stuff like Netflix adding $1 to his account, stuff like that. DST sucks.
They've had big protest in different countries about daylight savings time because everyone's so annoyed by it. So it's not a small issue. I think a lot of people have similar problems with it than we do. So anyway, I love it. I love that we're bringing some attention to that. I don't think that they're going to listen to us, Kinsley. I think they're going to keep doing this stuff. And I think this country has a lot more on its plate than have to worry about this. I think some people actually opt out. They're like, nope, we're out. We're not doing that crap anymore. We're just going to keep it the way it is. So.
Hey, speaking of, so if here's something that you may want to pay attention to, if you're not ready to fight that fight, like if you're doing some of your homework right now, I just thought of something. In honor of anti-daylight saving time movement, let's give away a free book. So here's how we're going to do it. So if you are a champion for getting rid of daylight saving time, here's what you need to do. Text us right now. First person to text. 843-MARCOS-2. So 843-MARCOS-2. That's our podium text number. So the next person to text us with your name, email, and address, we're going to mail you a book. You got to have your name, email, and address. And don't assume that you're not going to be first, because we've been known to even do a little bit extra. Maybe the second person, maybe the 10th person.
But we're generous people like that, Kinsley. We want everyone
You're a
to
generous
have the book.
guy.
So it's how it works, right?
Mark Quinn has a giraffe saddle. He's paid for it. So now he's able to give away some books.
Yeah, well, they're not cheap, those giraffe saddles. All right. Well, anyway, you guys, so excited that you're here today, and so many more podcasts to check out on fam.news. Also, if you go there, you can sign up there and get a free audio version of the book. So check that out. So how about that, Kinsley? Not bad, right?
I like that. Speaking of audio, we're going to roll out coming up on The Chase by Charlie DiCarlo, his top most streamed song on Spotify. And you can check him out, Charlie DiCarlo, on Spotify, and we'll put links up here in the show notes as well. And by the way, the Dos Marcos show, you can still go to mattresspodcast.com, but you can also go to fam.news, go to podcasts, and there we are. That's the new home for it. And then, of course, on the Apple Podcast app, Google Play, Spotify. And be sure and leave us a review. I think we have like 29 reviews on Apple Podcasts, and we'd like to have 29 more. So it really helps us out, and we appreciate you.
There you go. Roll that beautiful Charlie DiCarlo tunes right now.
If this were the end, could you die? Look what you've done. Nothing left ahead, just you and the things you've done. Is it all a give or is it all a take? Can you tell me now? In this give and take, did you give? What did you take? Promises were made. Did you think the damage was done? It was in our heads to sell ourselves short. Is it all a give or is it all a take? Can you tell me, can you tell me now? Is it all a give or is it all a take? Can you tell me, can you tell me now? Is it all a give or is it all a take? Can you tell me, can you tell me now? Is it all a give or is it all a take? Can you tell me, can you tell me now? Is it all a give or is it all a take? Can you tell me, can you tell me now? Is it all a give or is it all a take? Can you tell me, can you tell me now? Is it all a give or is it all a take? Can you tell me, can you tell me now?
So talented,
How about that?
man.
You know, I have to. Can I
Check
tell
him
you?
out on Spotify for sure.
Honestly,
that
he-
is really well done.
He reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, I got some new music. I just wanted to know if I could share it, and maybe you guys could share it." And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm thinking, "Okay, what's this going to be, right?" And I was blown away. He actually's got a lot of talent, and that studio mix, that's solid, man. He's got some great studio musicians on all of his stuff, and it was really fun to listen to. He's got a lot of talent, that guy.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, thanks for being part of the fam. You're part of the fam, and we want to hear from other artists in the mattress business, in the bedding business. If you create paintings or sculptures or music, or you have some other form of art that we don't even know about, like something brand new, like let us know. We want to show you off because it's so cool to get to know this family, this fam of an industry through the lens of the things that you do with creativity and the things that you're passionate about. We love hearing about that. And, Quinn is, not a lot of people know this. He's the king of origami. He's the king of origami.
Yes, I am.
We'll show it off later.
Well, no, just not. I don't want to brag and do all that now. But yeah, origami. That's it. And I'm also a side hustle entomologist. So I got that
Jack
going
Nut
for
George.
me. Yep. You know what? We'll have to, Kinsley. We'll have to get our stuff out. Maybe Charlie will let us play harmonica and guitar with him. We can sit in on the session.
All right, man. We'll get in there and rip with you a little bit and screw up your songs, Charlie. No problem.
Yeah. All right. Am I going to see you on Nationwide Primetime this next couple days?
I'll be
Have
at
the
primetime,
audience?
man. I'm going
All
to be
right.
there hanging with our friends Whitaker and Jeff Rose and Darrow and Chad Fisher and Johnny Lamp and the whole crew from Door Counts. Man, I
Amy
can't
Kroom
wait. I
and
can't
Rob
wait.
Stott. Everybody's going to be there. You need to be there. Let's go watch Dana Carvey and everybody have a fantastic week. We are out of here.